Welcome to Virtual Zoo Tours, the channel that essentially takes you through the zoo and teaches you a little bit about its animals. Before we begin, I highly suggest and would appreciate it if you went ahead and hit those like and subscribe buttons to officially join the Virtual Zoo. The day is young and a zoo awaits. Welcome to the channel's debut of the Fort Worth Zoo. And let me just start by saying, what a place to be. You've got the African savanna, the wilds of Texas, located on the outskirts of town, and what just has to be the best reptile collection in all of the US. I mean, what more could you possibly want? I thought I'd be nice and go a little out of order because I just couldn't wait to show you their literal biggest attraction, the brand new Elephant Springs. Opening just a little over a year ago, in April of 2021, the Springs marks Phase 2 in the zoo's $100 million A Wilder Vision project, though apparently only $42 million went into this. And I mean, at this point, it's a dead giveaway of what it contains, but just to spoil it a little more, we'll cover the exhibit in its entirety, meet the family, and there's one more special surprise saved for along the way. So, let's go. We'll begin our journey just like you would in real life, at the main entrance. And pro tip, if you ever see a massive horde of people on a school field trip, run. To the entrance, of course. Anyways, upon entry, and just past this African-styled bridge thing, we'll reach the zoo's main plaza area, continuing right and onto a boardwalk that overlooks the sorry excuses of primate exhibits, and after a very long walk, you'll eventually reach the Elephant Springs. Today, just for simplicity, we'll start on the north side, adjacent to the African savanna, past this very nicely designed entrance sign, which is disguised as a traditional Asian gong. Only a few steps into the springs, we'll come across what's referred to as the Authentic Fishing Village. This platform, which is located on the front rim of the habitat, just overlooking the river, acts as the exhibit's main viewing area. Right behind this is a much more shallow section of the river where multiple seemingly abandoned fishing boats can be identified, floating in the ever so calm waters. Back inside the village huts, the theming is taken a step further, with rustic boat motors, canoe paddles, buoys, rugs, a map of Asia from sometime around the 20th century, and yes, even cool trash cans. As mentioned before, the village overlooks 2 of the 6 enclosures reserved for the elephants, and though I don't have an exact measurement for any of the spaces in particular, I do know that the springs nearly tripled the herd's territory. Firstly, tucked a little off to the side, is the North Habitat, which also happens to be the slightly smaller and more private of the 2. Included is a shade structure, a small hill, and a couple of trees. Right next to this, and front and center, is the South Habitat, which quite disappointingly also shares the same bland and plain design while offering a bit more shade. Again, just past this wall of bamboo and fencing, lining the back of the exhibits, are multiple other yards that allow for the herd to access as they please. If you haven't noticed already, located atop this rocky outcrop in the far left corner are several cascading waterfalls, along with a massive water tower that spills into the 400,000 gallon river, which is basically just a large pool, where I myself was almost as interested in filming these adorable little ducklings and pond turtles opposed to the pachyderms. This large moat not only separates the viewing area from the animals, but it can fully submerge multiple adult elephants at one time. On the topic of water, the exhibit also offers these water sprayer guns, where for the price of 25 cents per round, guests can project short bursts of water into the pool. However, it should be noted that they can't quite shoot far enough to cause a huge disturbance to the animals. The Fort Worth Zoo is home to multiple different species of construction equipment. Wait, what? That's more like it. The Fort Worth Zoo is home to 8 Asian elephants, 4 males and 4 females to be exact, varying in ages from less than a year to 48 years of age, forming what's known as a multi-generational herd. I promised we'd briefly meet the family, so the oldest is Rasha. Born in 1973, she arrived at the zoo in 1995. You can easily identify her from her tattered ears and wrinkled joints. Next up is Angel, born in 1998, making her about 23 years old. Unlike the other females at the zoo, she is slightly taller and a bit larger. Apparently, she's best friends with Blue Bonnet, who also just happens to be Rasha's daughter, being born in 1998. Not only does she closely resemble her mother, but she is a parent of her own to Bowie and the herd's youngest member. Finally, closing out the females is Belle, who was born at the Fort Worth Zoo in 2013. She spends much of her time with her mother Rasha and sometimes her older sister Blue Bonnet. Being still more of a juvenile in elephant terms, she is noticeably smaller than the others. Now for the males. Here in Fort Worth, you'll spot Romeo. Don't have much footage of him, so have to be quick. But I do know that he was born sometime around 1993. With him is Colonel, again another very majestic looking bull. At 31 years old, he weighs about 9,000 pounds and stands at about 9.5 feet tall. Then you've got Bowie, who was born at the zoo in 2013 as Blue Bonnet's first calf, and is therefore Belle's nephew. Being the young bull he is, he spends much of his time alone, as his mother is now totally uninvolved in his life. And finally, for the herd's newest addition, Baby Brazos, a male calf born at the zoo on October 21st, 2021 at 11:35 p.m. to Mother Blue Bonnet and Father Romeo, making him officially the 4th Asian elephant born at the zoo. At birth, this little bundle of joy weighed just 255 pounds and was 37 inches tall, with a trunk length of just over a foot. Brazos was noted standing after 37 minutes of birth and now continues to gain 2 to 3 pounds a day, which is perfectly healthy for a calf of his age. Now he's about 6.5 months old, and throughout the day, he can be seen playing, eating, learning how to use that trunk, as well as interacting with keepers, nursing from, and giving his mother a playful hard time. If you'd like to see him, of course you do, personally I'd recommend the early morning or sometime before noon to get the best overall experience. His birth not only marked an important milestone in the Fort Worth Zoo's elephant breeding program, but it continues to show their position as an international leader in elephant conservation. Though this would have been quite the fitting finale, there's still more to see. Heading back to the north entrance of the Elephant Springs and taking a right off the main path, you'll eventually come to a small amphitheater-styled seating area, placed in front of a smaller enclosed yard, which is the location of the zoo's elephant demonstration shows, where twice a day, usually at 10 and 2, visitors can get an inside look at the husbandry behaviors and care that goes into managing these giants. Continuing onward, and after that slight detour, oh yeah, and past this elephant sculpture I swear I've seen like 20 times now, we'll eventually arrive at this almost internal plaza. There's seating, a themed merchandise cart, and I know this isn't virtual bathroom tours, but I just have to mention how nice these actually are for zoo restrooms. Up ahead, ascending these stairs, which run along the main waterfall, you'll eventually find yourself at yet another viewing shelter, though this one is much smaller than the others. This elevated section overlooks a decent size and well-shaded paddock, including multiple mud wallows and another pool, which can only mean you're about to see, yes, the greater one-horned, or Indian as they are sometimes known, rhino. Here I believe is a young male named Parvesh, who recently came to Fort Worth on a breeding recommendation from the San Diego Safari Park, where he was born in 2014. And that closes out part 1 of our adventures through the Fort Worth Zoo. Oh yeah, did I mention that just last week, the Elephant Springs actually won the Themed Entertainment Award for their absolutely over-the-top and stellar theming. Anyways, next time we're back here, we'll be backtracking just a little bit to explore the plains, rivers, and deserts of the African savanna. As always, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Hit those like and subscribe buttons, and let me know down in the comments below what you thought of this new development.